Turning now to the war in Ukraine and an attack that Russia is calling a major escalation. Ukraine, for the first time, used long-range American-made missiles, they're known as ATACMS, to strike more than 70 miles inside Russia. Russian leader Vladimir Putin responded with a nuclear threat. CBS's Holly Williams reports tonight from Kyiv.
U.S. officials say Ukraine fired 8 American-made ATACMS into Russia. This video appears to show a launch, though we can't verify it. The target was a military facility in the Bryansk region of southern Russia, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. U.S. officials say the Russians may have shot down 2 of the missiles, powerful weapons with a maximum range of close to 200 miles.
First of all, it's going to help our troops right now at the front lines.
Alexandra Ustinova is a member of Ukraine's parliament who told us she lobbied the U.S. government to allow Ukraine to use the ATACMS deep inside Russia. The U.S. only agreed to it 2 days ago, worried it could escalate the conflict.
Are you angry that the US didn't give Ukraine permission earlier to use the ATACMS deep inside Russia?
I'm really disappointed that every decision that the US government is making comes about 6 months later than it was needed.
Russia accuses the US of adding fuel to the fire. And today, Vladimir Putin approved a change in Russia's nuclear doctrine, lowering the threshold for a nuclear strike. A US official called that irresponsible rhetoric. President Biden allowed the broader use of ATACMS after more than 10,000 North Korean soldiers were deployed to Russia, bolstering Moscow's forces. Today, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that number could grow to 100,000.
Putin is focused on winning this war. He will not stop on his own.
Today marks 1,000 days since Vladimir Putin launched his invasion. We were here when it began, Nora, and we've witnessed Ukrainians lose their homes, their limbs and their lives in a war they never wanted.
Holly Williams, thank you for all your reporting from the front lines.
Russia says it used a hypersonic missile during the Dnipro factory attack on November the 21st, 2024. It's thought to be a variant of the RS-26 missile Arombiash, a shortened version of the RS-24 Yars missile seen in this video. Capable of being ground-launched from a transporter erector launcher, or TEL for short, the RS-26 is thought to have come from the Kasputin Yar training ground in the Astrakhan Oblast, a distance of 510 miles between launch site and the target. The US Department of Defense has confirmed it was not an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, downgrading it instead to an intermediate range ballistic missile, or IRBM. The missile was identified by President Putin as an Oreshnik, medium-range non-nuclear hypersonic ballistic missile. Hypersonic weapons are different. In 2018, the Russians claimed they had developed a hypersonic glide vehicle called Avangard, which they described as a gliding block. This sort of missile would be launched ballistically upwards, but then release the glide vehicle, which would skim the atmosphere on the edge of space. It can make turns to avoid high-altitude interceptor missiles. Its believed version of the Avangard system can be carried on the RS-26 missile, which Oreshnik was developed from. In the videos of the missile strike in the Ukrainian city of Dnipro, you can see the missile has released 6 submunitions, which then release 6 smaller submunitions. A total of 36 separate impacts are the result. They also appear to be glowing, possibly from the heat of atmospheric entry, which would have taken less than half a minute to reach the ground from space. It's possible these munitions contain no explosive and were pure kinetic energy weapons. The energy delivered by projectiles travelling at Mach 10 or 7,000 miles per hour would be very high. The target was the PA-15 factory in Dnipro. It makes rocket motors and other space technology products. Dnipro, known previously as Dnipropetrovsk, was the centre of Soviet Cold War ballistic missile production and was nicknamed Rocket City. Ukrainians are unlikely to reveal how much damage was caused to the target factory. It's even possible it was not hit at all. Vladimir Putin stated that it was a combined weapons strike, explaining the explosions caught on security cameras following the Orishnik strike, which is possibly the arrival of Kinzhal or Kh-101 missiles. Western military analysts are continuing to study the missile flight characteristics and target effects to find ways to counter the system in the future. For the Russians, the attack demonstrated a response to the Ukrainian use of ATACMS and Storm Shadow missiles. It also provided an opportunity to test their latest missile system in combat. Stuart Rumble, BFBS Forces News.
В боевых условиях было проведено в том числе и испытание одной из новейших. В ответ на применение американского и британского дальнобойного оружия 21 ноября текущего года российские вооруженные силы нанесли комбинированный удар по одному из объектов оборонно-промышленного комплекса Украины. В боевых условиях было проведено в том числе и испытание одной из новейших российских ракетных систем средней дальности. В данном случае с баллистической ракетой в безъядерном гиперзвуковом оснащении. Мы считаем себя вправе применять наше оружие против военных объектов тех стран.
С военно-технической точки зрения мы, конечно, готовы. Они у нас постоянно находятся в состоянии боевой готовности. Это первое. А второе, и это тоже общепризнанная вещь, наша триада, ядерная триада, она является более современной, чем любая другая триада. Таких триад только вот у нас, да, американцев, на самом деле. И мы здесь продвинулись гораздо больше. У нас она более современная.
Amos chapter 9 and verse 8, and it reads, Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I would not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, said the Lord. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Call Lord Yahweh, Bashma Mashak Yahweh Ruha Wakakodash. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness, sincerity. Again, I'm going to say shalom. It'll be a quick segment. I'll be coming off the end of this pagan rhetoric. America has entered into World War III. Okay. Understand the nuclear doctrine was violated, and I'm going to keep resurfacing that. America violated Russia's nuclear doctrine, which means this war will spiral out of control, and it will be sudden. So for the elect children of Israel, we just have to keep keeping the commandments, and we just pray for our deliverance out of this captivity. Because there will be no peace under Donald Trump or any other president run-up. Okay. America enters into 250. It'll be closer, close to this time next year, around November, early January of 26. It'll make 250. But there's no biblical accounts that says we have to wait for America to hit 250 years, which means the famine, the plague, the pestilence, okay, the continued decline of American hegemony, that's just going to continue, family. And ultimately, the great judgment has to play out. Okay, when you study Joel 3, you know, Hamashiach Yahawashai, he's going to Slakia, take care of serious business. He's going to save the chosen, okay? And the wicked's going to be judged. But just based on these news accounts, it's never going back. America will be destroyed in 1 hour, as it's written in Revelation, the 18th chapter. That's the 8th verse. But stay tuned on this global news. I will continue to post more content as this day get closer and closer. All praise, honor, and glory be to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom, family.